about it, and then I'll use a quote. Okay, so tell them again about.
So in 2022, you invested.
Yeah. So you're talking about same store growth. You guys are having a killer same store growth year. So we saw about 2022. I knew that market was pivoting. I didn't like what was going on, and so we actually
What was
did
it
a
pivoting
study.
away from?
So we felt like with all the money that was dumped during COVID, this massive inflation in cost, right? We felt interest rates were going to probably take a rise. We're gonna start getting into an election year, right? Operations getting squeezed. We're just hearing the first signs of DSOs kind of getting in a little bit of a trouble. So we said, all right, let's think this through and pivot in 2022. So we came up with a plan, made some major changes, looked at squeezing some costs, and said, hey, if we're going to get to the other side of this, we're going to have to be in a nice cash flow position. So we actually went in and started taking a ton of look at our revenue cycle management, our insurance, our processes, our treatment coordination, our phone calls, which is what we're working with, UMO and Patient Prism with. And say,
have you got a centralized call center yet?
We have a centralized call center.
Big upside?
Big upside. Big upside. We think it alone will add another $1 million in revenue. That's the top line. We're not even done. As I was telling them, I've got a vision of where I want to go take this thing. But ultimately, if we're looking for same store growth, which is the mantra of all these conferences, and all you're hearing is about, hey, you're not looking for add-ons, you're looking for same store growth. I think it's going to take, realistically, I thought I could turn the ship out in 6 months in 22. I'll get this thing turned in 6 months. It took all of 18 months to get everything pivoted, all the team. Other teams may be able to do it faster than us, but we did it meticulously. We didn't want to make any errors along the way. So when we got to the end of 23, as I was leaving for New Zealand, I told my wife, I think we've crossed all the boxes, and we'll have to see what 24 does. And here we are halfway through 24, about a 24% growth year over year. When everybody's talking about struggles and same store growth, we were planning on it in 24, and now we're looking for 20% growth in 2025. So now, based on what we've learned in the past, we're going to take and pivot some things as we're going to start now on pivoting for 2025.
So your daughter's in your marketing function.
She is.
She's taking credit for all this?
Well, she's taking some marketing credit. Where she's mad right now, she goes, hey, we're making the phones ring, and we're getting patients to the door, but hey, the teams aren't booking all the patients. Yeah. So which is a Patient Prism issue, right? So I just met with them all on that, and I think we'll get some of those things ironed out. I've got some call logic that I will call what I'm going to institute in the next 3 or 4 months with some different people, and I think we get done. I think we'll get into the low 90s.
What do you think of these AI call center bots?
I think it's a lot of machine learning. I don't think we're fully ready for it. I think humanity's not fully ready for some of it, but this new generations don't want to deal with people, right? So they're accepting the bots a little bit. It's inevitable in the next 5 to 7 years. We're going to see a lot of bot trained, responses. Software will deal with bot trained, scheduling, and so it's already coming. We've seen some technology in the pipeline for it. It's inevitable that we're going to see bot trained.
You leaned on so much gold here. I'm going to make some notes just in case Beth doesn't share the video with me.
So Himesh, what are some of the levers that you were pulling to get to that 26%?
Yeah, so we definitely looked at our payer mix, right? Yeah. We looked at our So we had to go back and look at all of our payers, negotiate, look at our contractuals, look at in and out of network, look to see the impact they were going to have on the teams, look at data, look at our patient volume if we went out of network, which we studied for now the last year. Then one of the big things we did is we had a really solid membership model with Subscriberly. And so we've got a solid membership model. It is now our second highest payer of our commercial payers.
No way.
So we've got, MetLife is our biggest payer, and then our membership model is Subscriberly, and then they all fall off the top 10 commercial payers. So that means we're a direct payer, right? So, and our per visit output on the membership model versus a commercial payer is much higher.
Now, do you find anything like having credit card saved on file, things of that nature, automated paying, payment plans?
So ton of that, ton of payment plans, automation around it, using the software to allow to do it. And being flexible with patients. Yes. We have to be sensitive to markets are changing. So our teams are being trained to be real flexible, talk about treatment plans, payment plans, things that'll be a little bit more drawn out. And our doctors are getting trained on sensitivities, right? Just so that we can manage through it. Then we looked at our phones, we looked at our treatment acceptance rate, we looked at better training. And then I was telling somebody earlier that retention is a big problem, but we don't really have a retention issue. Most of our teams stay. We think that goes back to training. I think I heard today that losing a doctor could cost the company as much as $1 million. But, and if that's the case, then we need to make sure we're retaining them. And so we're doing a lot of in-house. And then Sam spoke of it yesterday. We think culture is big. And so you have to drive a really right culture. And so I think those have been some key factors that have really kind of poised us into here, right? And kind of really growing. And our teams are doing well. They're loving it. When you're doing great, your teams are fine. When you're doing bad, management feels it, right? And so we would rather have the first conversation than the second one.
Yeah.
Right. So.